Hello everyone and welcome to this new episode of our LLE podcast. My name is Sarah and we're joined today by Dr. Ashley Hulash, a mathematician and head of school for foundation education at Middlesex University. And today we're going to discuss how maths can sometimes be intimidating for students and how you can build confidence in it. So could you tell us a bit about what you do here at university?
I'm the head of School of Foundation Education, as you said. Used to teach mathematics when I started way back in 2010. So I've been here 15 years. Started as a lecturer, program coordinator, senior lecturer, area head of school for business, innovation, creativity, and then now head of school for foundation education.
That's an impressive journey. And how did you find out you had a passion for mathematics?
That was probably when I was 14 years old, probably as well coming from a household where both my parents were teachers, so we had not an inclination, but the pressure, maybe, even that's a strong word, but the objective was always education. And very early at the age of 14, I thought that teaching would be my career. And at that time, I was thinking which subject. So it was definitely going to be mathematics. It was that affinity I had with the subject, the passion that I had for the subject. So it was a very easy choice at the age of 14. And I'm quite lucky that I'm doing the job that I always planned to do and I always wanted to do.
Interesting. And what would you say demarcated mathematics from other subjects back then?
Well, it's the pure science, it's the language of the universe. All the other subjects are connected with mathematics. The obvious ones are physics. The less obvious ones are, for example, biology, chemistry, accounting, business, economics. Obviously, people know the mathematics side of it. So if you think about it, every single thing that you study would have some flavor of mathematics or numeracy in the subject. So that's probably the beauty of the subject.
That's very true, yeah. And despite the fact that we see mathematics in everything that we do in life, I find that a lot of students have this fear when they approach the subject. Why do you think that is?
Well, study says that it's sometimes you'll be surprised. It starts from at home, where the parents discourage the kids I won't say to study mathematics. Well, I need to put that in perspective. It depends on the let's say the continent we are or the culture we are surrounding ourselves with. So in some cultures, you would see that parents discourage girls to study mathematics because they think that girls are probably better for outside. In some environment, you see that parents put pressure on the boys to study things like engineering, which has obviously the mathematics connection. So it depends on areas or surroundings and so on. So we have a lot of reasons why you know, that there is some inclination or some disinterest towards mathematics.
And while you've been teaching, have you seen that in your students, that they have this fear of math?
I've teach at two higher education institutions. I was quite lucky to teach BSc Mathematics and MSc ages ago. I won't give away my age, but it was ages ago. And the experience there was different because by default, the students doing BSc Mathematics are passionate about mathematics. Mm-hmm. So my input in terms of support was minimal. You have students who were highly interested, keen to know about maths, trying to get good grades and so on. Then that was at University of Greenwich in UK. Then here at Middlesex, we do not have BSc Mathematics, so we have a variety of modules where we have components of mathematics. And here, that's where you see the difference. You'd see that some students, you'd be surprised to know that usually about 32% of graduates, and I'm not talking about Middlesex University, I'm talking about in general, 32% of our first year students did not know that they were going to study mathematics in their degree. And another surprise is that 63% of students in year one hate mathematics. So if they're not doing BSc mathematics, obviously. So we call those students non-specialist students. So specialist would be if you're doing BSc Maths or BSc Stats or MSc Maths. Non-specialist if you have to study a few components of mathematics in your program. So these are non-specialists. So at Middlesex we have non-specialists, and that's the challenge. Maybe that's where the passion and the interest to make a difference in students' perception start, and that's what we've been doing for the past 15 years at Middlesex.
It's very interesting to hear you talk about the difference between students who expect to study it and who don't expect to.
Yeah.
And what services does the university provide to those students that may not find that math is their strong subject?
We have a couple of, let's say, initial steps. We have the Center for Mathematics and Statistics Teaching and Learning, in short, SEMASTEL. Our job is to empower students in a certain way. So, for example, we have online tutorials that we upload. There's a group of people, right? So it's not just me. And the group of people would consist of Middlesex, Mauritius colleagues, and we have people from Hendon who contribute as well. So usually we may have a live online session on a topic. We may also have uploaded videos, because obviously getting students at one specific time is really tough. So we have a set of recorded sessions that we've uploaded on that website. Interestingly as well, it doesn't limit ourselves to support students only, we also support staff. So those who are doing postgrads or PGCHE or doctorates, we have sessions organized for them. Few sessions, maybe 5 sessions per year, usually focused around July, August. We have research retreats for MSc dissertation, MSc management students who are doing their dissertation. So to encourage them to do their dissertation and to talk to us, we ask them to come on campus 1 day a week. Let's say it starts in July and end around mid-September. And they're supposed to sit down and do their research, but we also try to help them if they have questions on, let's say, quantitative methods and so on.
And how should students make use of this service? How can they reach out to you?
Well, there's the LET. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, it's not just SEMASTEL, we have LET. SEMASTEL, the math support is under the LET, the Learning Enhancement Team. So they can approach first, I'm talking about undergrad or foundation program students here, where they can approach LET. We have SLAs here who help. It doesn't necessarily need to be a lecturer, it can be one of the peers who may be comfortable in maths or numeracy, so they can first start with the LET who will direct them, or they can communicate with us via our website. These are the ways they can initiate communication.
Okay. And for the students that are curious, do you have any stories of students who probably weren't as good in mathematics or who were anxious at first, and through this service they became more confident?
So we're talking about Middlesex here. So yes, we have a lot of feedback about this. We have a paper, actually, myself and a colleague of mine, we are publishing a paper. It's just yesterday, it's been accepted, and where we discuss the feedback that we receive through the support we give, coming from MSc students. So you can see, based on those feedbacks, that things change. For example, doing a dissertation at MSc level or doing research at MSc level is sometimes challenging, because for a lot of students, this is the first time they are left on their own under the guidance of, let's say, supervisors. Yes, true, but they're left on their own for 3 months, where they have to find their feet in the world of research. How do they manage to get knowledge about quantitative analysis and so on? So when we do provide that help, and collect feedback, you can see that it obviously meets, there is some degree of progress and positive feedback that we get from the students. So they're a bit more confident when they do their analysis. We're not going to do the analysis for them, but we kind of guide them on a very general way, and they do feel more confident. At least they have a more focused approach towards their research.
Impressive. And given that you're now head of school for foundation education, what's the level of mathematics you would say that students need to be comfortable with prior to starting the?
So specifically for foundation education, we they need to be, obviously they would have done a bit of mathematics, but the interesting thing is, what's the whole purpose of foundation education is to transition between high school or secondary school and undergrad. So we provide that gap. So if there was anything that's missing in their studies, obviously we have a structured syllabus, but we hope that that the components of the syllabus plug in those bits, and the requirement would be that they've done some mathematics. We don't expect them to be 100% comfortable with the subject, but our job is to make sure that they are ready to do some more mathematics when they start their undergrad. So that's our objective.
All right. And is there any specific way you would want them to prepare prior to starting?
Well, if the more mathematics they do, the better. But that, like I said, that's not a requirement. We do our job in the sense that the transition is smooth. So, in terms of preparation, that was the question, right? Preparation. So, no, as long as they are here and they are diligent with their work, weekly work and homework, that's more than enough.
And for students who find that maths is not their favorite subject, what would you recommend for them to keep their skills sharp?
Talk to us. But in more serious note is that, I always believe that practice makes perfect, especially for subjects which are challenging, like mathematics. Challenging is a matter of perception, obviously. But if you need to recognize the strength and the weakness towards mathematics to be able to progress. If you're misleading yourself, then clearly it's misguided. So if you do agree that it is challenging and you decide to speak with someone, then obviously there is a way to help them. But recognition is key, and we encourage this. So be honest in terms of your ability or capacity to learn and study and mathematics, and identify the things. I mean, some students say that they can't really retain formulae, or they don't really understand the concept or the logic behind a certain chapter. That's where we come in and try to, tackle it from a different angle, and explain concepts through another lens, just for students to understand better.
Interesting. So I'm picking up that there's a level of self-awareness that's needed from the students before they reach out. Interesting. And for those students, and that sometimes includes me, that just tell themselves that, you know what, I'm just not a math person. What would you want to say to them?
Look, it's okay. We don't expect you. I think as an academic, I'd love people to like or love mathematics, but let's be practical here. Just like I may not like something outside mathematics. Let's just arbitrarily say law, for example, right? Just because you're a law student, I'm using that term. Similarly, we don't expect everybody to love mathematics after university. What we want is for students to understand that in most careers, in knowing numeracy and understanding quantitative analysis and methods is going to be crucial. So even though we don't expect people to excel or to love the subject and to be passionate about mathematics, that's irrelevant. We want them to at least try to use concepts which would be important in their field of work. That's good enough, and they should be confident. They should know what exactly they want to do and what are the tools that they can use to achieve the results.
And given that you're the head of school for foundation education, not just specifically mathematics, do you have any tips for students in general?
In terms of in general, right?
general,
So,
yes.
okay, so if you are in foundation education, just grab the opportunity because we try to make it clear to students about the objective of foundation education. So, let's say IFP, where it's a bridge between secondary school and university undergrad. Use this and make sure that one is ready when they start their undergrad. And interestingly, we do see that a lot of students from IFP are more confident when they start their undergrad studies in terms of standing in front of the crowd, giving a presentation. So get rid of all the, let's say, things that stop you from developing. You're amongst your peers, you are in front of a lecturer, nothing wrong can happen here. Be yourself and try to explore, be inquisitive, ask questions, and as I've said, remember the objectives. We want you, or we are trying to get you ready when you start undergrad in terms of confidence and progress and achievement and so on. So in general, be yourself. As I've said, recognition of your strengths and weaknesses is extremely important for me as an academic. As long as you're honest with yourself, you can then improve. So that's the advice I'm going to give. Like, just make good use of the opportunities that you have at university. Doesn't matter which university, the resources that you have an objective, have a clear pathway towards your goal, and things should be fine.
I absolutely agree. And I've noticed as well how foundation education really helps students, like you said, build their skills, and they do end up joining the undergrad batch as more confident in their capacities. So
We've noticed this. It's really obvious sometimes.
it is.
I'm not talking about grades here. I'm talking about confidence, and I'm not talking about. There are things that's very easy to notice, and we see that the foundation education or IFP students are very active or proactive as well in some cases, and confidence is high. Readiness to take up challenges is another level. So yeah, you're right.
Thank you so much
No
for
problem.
today. It's been an absolute pleasure. It was a very informative conversation, and I'm sure students will benefit a lot from hearing what you've shared with us. Thank you, and I hope we get to talk again.
Sure, pleasure is mine. All right.
To you guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment anything that resonated with you and how you feel about mathematics. Thank you for watching.